Hello and welcome to Theme Park History, the channel for everything to do with theme parks, old and new, big and small. In today's episode, we will be taking a look at Six Flags Great Adventures Skyway, a dual gondola lift that opened at the park on July 1st, 1974, and as of May 2018 is still in operation. This attraction was suggested by New Jersey Coasters, so thank you for your suggestion.
Thanks for having me.
Whoa, how did you get here?
You invited me, remember?
Oh right, I forgot about that. Well, in that case, why don't you come along with me as I take a look at your suggestion?
Sounds like a plan.
Alright, let's get to it. As one of the few last remaining dual gondola lifts in the world, the Skyway has been a staple of great adventure since the park opened in 1974. The Skyway doubles as both the means of transportation within the park, as well as offering thrills and spectacular views of the park from above. While skyrides were common in theme parks in the 1960s and 1970s, many parks have since removed them, making the Skyway a standing piece of theme park history. As one of the opening day attractions when Six Flags Great Adventure opened in July of 1974, the Skyway was an immediate hit with guests, as it offered guests not only amazing views of the park.
Hey, don't mean to cut you off, but the Skyway's history actually begins earlier than when it opened at Great Adventure in 1974. It actually started 10 years before that.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, if you don't mind, I might be able to help you with this part.
Yeah, no problem. So the Skyway started in 1964?
Yeah, at the 1964 to 1965 New York World Fair, the Von Roll Company of Switzerland introduced the Swiss Skyride, a skyride that ran above the international area of the fair, giving guests a bird's-eye view of not only all the attractions below, but also a great view of Manhattan. As one of the tallest skyrides to be built in North America, the fleet of colorful cars would silently glide across the sky, and after dark, they would light up with a pair of small lights that were mounted to each roof. The one-way, 75-cent trip would cover over 1,875 feet and would take 4 minutes to complete.
Wow, I didn't know any of this when I was doing my research. To be honest, the Skyway was most likely overshadowed due to the presence Disney had at that World's Fair, with its A Small World, Carousel of Progress, and Ford's Magic Skyway. I actually have a question for you. Is the Van Roll Company responsible for the Skyway that was built at Disneyland in Anaheim, California?
Actually, Von Roll was responsible for most of the Skyway attractions that were built in theme parks during the 60s and the 70s, including the ones at Disneyland, Magic Kingdom, and Tokyo Disneyland.
So after the World's Fair closed, Van Roll was hired by Six Flags to build their own version of the Skyway?
Close. The original plans for Great Adventure was to feature multiple skyrides, actually, that were supposed to connect different areas of the park. One of the skyrides would have been twice as long as the current Skyway. However, when the plans for Great Adventure were scaled back due to costly budgets, the skyride was also scaled back. Warner Leroy, the original owner and creator of Great Adventure, purchased the Swiss Skyride and had it installed in the park. So that means this Skyway was the exact one used at the World's Fair, but that's not the only ride that came from the World's Fair. There was the tram in the Himalaya, but that's getting off topic.
Oh, okay now I understand what you meant when you said that the Skyway's history dates back all the way to 1964.
Exactly. Many people don't know about that, but I find it to be an important part of the attraction's backstory.
I have to say, that's some pretty interesting stuff. Thanks for the history lesson. Do you mind if I take over for a bit?
Go right ahead.
Construction of the Skyway took place in 1974, only taking workers a few months to complete it. The towers of the attraction erected quickly while the two stations took longer to come together. Once the towers and the drive and tension bases at each end were in place, the job of stringing the cable began, with the challenge of the ride's length and height being further complicated by its need to traverse buildings, trees, and waterways. A helicopter was used to pull ropes from end to end, which would then be used to run the steel cables. The Skyway would be completed and ready for operation when Great Adventure would open on July 1st, 1974. Guests can enter the Skyway from either of the two stations in the park. The Skyway carries passengers on a 4-minute trip from the Fantasy Forest section of the park to the Frontier Adventures section, or vice versa. The ride consists of 2 continuous cable loops held up by 6 evenly dispersed support towers. The cars hang from this moving cable, each one carrying up to 4 passengers. These are open cars with 4 seats, 2 rows of 2 facing each other. At each station, a large bull wheel with a pulley-like groove rotates the direction in which the cable is moving. Incoming cars are transferred from the moving cable to a stationary steel track, along which the wheels of each car glide. As each car enters the station, it is caught and brought to a stop by a park employee, who then holds the car in place and opens the door for passengers to exit. The car is then pushed around to the other side of the wheel, where another employee steadies the car for new passengers to enter. The door is closed and locked, and the car is moved into the launcher. This holds the car in place until the proper launch interval has passed. The ride's computer system dispatches the car at an appropriate interval, which allows the car to roll down a ramp, accelerating the car to the same speed as the cable, and automatically clamping onto the cable to send it back out. The Skyride was an immediate hit at Great Adventure when the park opened in July of 1974, offering spectacular views and a thrilling ride as well as an opportunity for weary guests to rest their tired feet. With the original layout of Great Adventure, the rootin' tootin' rip-roaring section of the park was set off as a kind of dead end. The Skyride helped move guests out of the area and down back to the far end of Dream Street without having to backtrack.
It's also one of the 4 attractions in the park, along with the carousel, big wheel, and safari that allows cameras to be taken and used on the ride.
Wait, so how do you record your footage when you're on all those roller coasters then?
A magician never reveals their secrets.
Alright, no further questions. Moving on. For the first few seasons, the Skyride was truly one of Great Adventure's biggest thrills as the second tallest ride in the park, just a little shorter than the giant wheel. The Skyride offered not only a way to save some steps and some fantastic views, but also a great way to catch a cooling breeze on a hot summer day. Okay, so this is awkward. This is usually the part in the video where I talk about when and why an attraction closed, but that isn't the case with the Skyway. I guess I gotta end the video because there's really nothing else to talk about.
I have an idea. What about the changes that have taken place over the Skyway's lifetime?
I don't know. I'm the if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of guy.
Well, let me give it a try, and we can see how it goes.
Alright, let's see what you got, kid.
Over the years, the Skyway has had some changes take place. The original look of the Skyway featured forest green towers to blend in with the surrounding trees in the area. By contrast, the cars were all painted bright colors to stand out against the sky. The cars would stay this way until the late 70s when Delta Airlines became the sponsor of the ride. The cars were repainted in white, and some getting blue roofs and some getting red roofs to match the airline's logo color scheme. The doors of the cars were fitted with decals of the Delta logo, and the bottoms of some of the cars were fitted with plates which advertised the destinations that the airline served.
Okay, as much as I hate blatant advertising and product placement, that one was actually pretty clever.
Yeah, the sponsorship was good and a natural fit, and the advertising on the undersides of the cars was a clever way of getting the message out. While the cars weren't as colorful as they had been originally, they were still quite attractive. The sponsorship would end in the early 80s, and the cars were repainted in orange or blue with white roofs and upper halves. This updated look would be short-lived though, as Great Adventure would receive new cars from the Skyride that just closed at Six Flags Great America in Illinois. The new cars were lighter, and their more squared off shape allowed easier modifications with additional safety bars, creating a cage to prevent guests from doing anything stupid, like what happened at Disneyland's People Mover and Disneyland's Skyride. Besides the additional safety bars, the new gondolas went largely unchanged when they went into service, even retaining their original red and blue color schemes from Great America. While not as colorful or stylish as the original fleet of World Fair gondolas, the new updated cars allowed the Skyride to stay in operations after most parks have removed theirs because of the high cost of maintenance, insurance, and the decline of ridership for bigger and more thrilling attractions. But the latest change to the attraction took place in 2011 when the Skyride received a new sponsorship with M&M's with really bad corny catchphrases on signs outside the entrances. The cars were painted in bright M&M colors, and decals of the iconic candies were placed on the doors of the gondolas. The freshly painted cars in bright colors harkened back to the original Skyway look from 1970s, with the vibrant gondolas standing out against the blue sky just like with the Delta. The sponsorship was a good fit for the attraction, with the sponsor receiving a visually interesting means of advertising as well as a sharp and refreshing look for the ride.
Okay, wow, that was really good. I would have never thought that the Skyway went through all of those changes in its lifespan.
Thanks again. I don't think many people realize all the history that the Skyride has been through. Because Great Adventure is so well known for its roller coasters, people look down upon most of its flats. But that wasn't always the case, as the Skyride was one of the premier attractions when the park first opened.
For over 50 years, the Skyway has been a staple of great adventure. Being a favorite of all ages, this relaxing journey high in the air offers one-of-a-kind vantage points of the entire park and its lush surroundings and lakeside setting. As one of the last of its kind, fans of the Skyway hope they will be able to journey through the sky for decades to come. So that is the theme park history of the Skyway. Special thanks to New Jersey Coasters for doing this crossover episode. Go check out their channel with the link in the description down below.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
No problem. Who knows, maybe our paths will cross again someday. As always, thank you for watching the video and supporting the channel. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter for updates, and if there's any attraction you would like us to cover in future videos, don't forget to leave a comment down below. Once again, thank you for watching, and until next time, don't look down.